Senator Roger Marshall is with me right now. He's in New York City, as a matter of fact. Senator, specifically, what do you want to do at the border?
Well, Stu, isn't it ironic that we have to beg the White House to secure our own border?
Yes.
I think that's what the irony here is. The president wants funding for Ukraine. Republicans want to secure the border. It's my #1 priority right now. 10 million people crossed the border illegally last year, over these last 3 years, excuse me. But we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to fix the border. This is the time that we have leverage to do that. So specifically, there's policy changes. We do need some type of a physical structure. We need more Border Patrol officers. We need more border technology as well. From the policy standpoint, we need to change the asylum rules and go back to remain in Mexico. If you pass through a third country, you can't come into this country asking for asylum. The policy alone would impact up to 3/4 of the number of encounters at the border.
Can you get all of that? Because that's a pretty wide raft of policy changes and structural changes. Can you get it all?
Well, if we don't, I think you're going to sure see a change in the White House. That at some point in time, Joe Biden has to own this problem.
You think that he's going to pay a political price for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because so far he hasn't.
Well, I sure do think he will. I think you're seeing his numbers go down and down and down. Not sure how much lower they can go. But I think back home, this is the #1 issue. People are numb to inflation. They're numb to interest rates. But in Kansas is now a border state that we are fearful of our own lives, that the cartel is alive and well in the state of Kansas, passing out fentanyl and human trafficking.
500,000 have come in since October the 1st. That's an enormous, that's almost an invasion. It seems like any measures we take now are too late. You've already got these folks here, and they're not going to go back, are they?
Right. Well, this is why FBI Director Wray was on Capitol Hill this week saying all the lights are blinking, that he's never seen a situation like this where he's so concerned about a possible terrorist event. But really, this is, again, once-in-a-life opportunity. We're not going to negotiate on Ukraine until we secure the border. And yes, we have to have all those. I think without them, there's not meaningful border security. We need to change the asylum policy. Yeah, but the president paroled 1.7 million people, 1.5 million people since he's been here as well. And we do need a border because of the 1.5 million gotaways out there.
Are we really going to send them back? Are we going to deport 5, 6, 7 million people?
Right.
I just can't see it.
Yeah. But what we have to do is turn off this magnet that Joe Biden has created. He's given everybody asylum. He's given everybody parole. But at some point in time, we have to turn off the magnet. We got a huge problem here that Joe Biden's created. It'll be tough. By the way, they're consuming about $500 billion a year of taxpayer dollars just to take care of this huge number of migrants that are in this country illegally.
I think you made the point very well there, sir. You've endorsed President Trump for president, of course, and you're calling for the end of what you're calling the political primary charade. What's the political primary charade? What is it?
Right. Well, I think that here we have President Trump 50, 60 points ahead in every poll, and the people of the Republicans have made their choice already. It's time to set both barrels on target at Joe Biden and focus on him. You know, look, again, there's 10 million reasons why people should vote for President Trump. Those 10 million people that have crossed the border illegally, I think it is a great place to start.
Hunter Biden indicted on tax charges in California. That's going to hang over the president, isn't it?
You know, absolutely. And again, I think the smoking gun, though, is that through these SARS reports, these suspicious activity reports, following that money trail from one of Hunter's puppet companies, sending it to the big guy. That Comer released a report on Monday showing that, indeed, this monthly payment going to the big guy. Indeed, there appears to be the Biden crime operation going on. It will hang over him, but not as much as this border issue is.
We've floated this idea throughout the show today that the situation is so bad for the president with Hunter's indictment and the possible impeachment coming up, that his close friends and associates and top Democrats would get together and go to him and say, now's the moment, Mr. President, to step aside. You think that could happen?
You know, I don't think so. I think the people that are controlling the puppet strings in the White House and his family like this power and control that they do have. And by the way, we want him to be the candidate. So let's not push him out too soon here. We want Joe Biden on that ticket.
But you've talked a lot about national security. I suspect that there's a national security threat here because if the president is incapacitated, we have President Harris. Now, that's not something which many Americans are looking forward to. That's a security issue. If she becomes the president all of a sudden, what's China going to do? What's Putin going to do? You see where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir. And this is not going to change until we get a new person in the White House. When we have a person in the White House that the rest of the world, like him or not, the rest of the world has to respect this person. And right now, Joe Biden, Vice President Harris, they do not have the respect of the rest of the world. There's no red line. Instead, they're just going to keep sending Biden and Obama blankets over to our enemies.
Trump beats Biden hands down?
Oh, gosh. I'm not a political scientist. I think he wins. I think it'll be close. That's why we play the game.
His legal troubles are not going to get in the way?
You know, it's interesting that they just make people more emboldened to support him, that Americans, at least Republicans, many Republicans and many moderates feel like they're not applying the law equally. And we see that. You know, if any of us had done what Hunter Biden had done years ago, we'd be in jail.
Yeah. His base is solid, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's a fact, right?
It is solid.
Senator Marshall, thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate it, always. Come and see us again.